It was nip and tuck game, and now all of a sudden at halftime, the Pelicans lead 66-53. Ryan, again, first back to back, tough game last night. New Orleans playing well, and now all of a sudden you're down 13. Again, the end of quarters, the Kings did not do well at the end of that second quarter.
Yeah, they didn't, but I'm also not overly concerned. I think it's something they can bounce back from. First quarter, they were getting to the ball, they were getting the bounces, hustling, but slowed down second quarter. We'll see what they do once the third starts.
Really slowed down. They were outscored 37-22 in that second quarter. So they got their doors blown off. But that's all right. As you said, this team has shown on many occasions the ability to bounce back. And, you look at the Sabonis and Barnes in double figures. Very slow first half for De'Aaron Fox. The guy's human. The reigning Western Conference Player of the Week, only 3 of 10 and 9 points. So Herter did play. We were talking about him being questionable. I look at the numbers for the Kings. Again, shooting is the key here. Only 38% from the floor, 30% from downtown. And again, you know what? Just like Dallas showed last night, it does make a difference when you play the night before. And not that this game is over, Jerry Reynolds, but got to give the Pelicans credit. They looked very, very good in that second quarter to open up that big lead.
Well, they're a very talented team. I mean, and that's even without C.J. McCollum. That's why, if Zion stays healthy, they're a serious threat in the West. They really are, because he's basically unguardable. I mean, and the Kings definitely, I thought, hung in there pretty good after the poor start. And then there's a case where they just really couldn't score the ball very well. But they're still in it. I mean, it's a case that they're going to have to come up with something on Zion for sure to slow him down. And I think the Kings really need to go inside a little more. They really are settling for the total perimeter game.
You know what, Ryan? 22 points for Zion Williamson. Also, Sabonis has 3 fouls. You get 6, and Jerry always talks about that a lot of times, coaches get very conservative, and it ends up where a player never fouls out. When I say never, I'm just giving an example. Mike Brown is not that way. Mike lets the guys play. But early in the third quarter, I think it's really imperative that Sabonis does not pick up that 4th foul, because then Mike Brown's going to have a big decision to make, and the Kings aren't going to win this game without Domantas Sabonis on the floor, in my opinion. But Zion Williamson's the real freaking deal, as Jerry said when he's right, isn't he, Ryan?
Oh, 100%, Grant. I mean, that is why everybody wishes he could stay on the court more, because if he could, he would be so much more consistent. That being said, Sabonis needs to play like he has no fouls like he did the other night. And I think that's a key. And also, Mike Brown's going to have to draw up some new ways to guard Zion here in the second half, whether it's throwing a double his way once in a while, make somebody else beat you, because on the offensive end, I feel like Domas has that same advantage, which we saw in the first quarter. They just haven't gone back to that well much since then.
Jerry, what else sticks out to you from that first half?
Well, I do think Domas has got to look for his shot more, especially around the basket. He can draw fouls as well. By the way, I know he's got 3 fouls on the book. He didn't really commit 3 fouls. I think he might have committed 1. But, there is that. But, I just think it's a case of Kings have got to come out in the third, cut into the lead a little bit. And as you pointed out, I mean, Domas, doesn't come up with the 4th foul. And so I think they'll have a chance to win the ball game. Maybe you might have to try to zone a little bit to slow Zion down, because, it's easy to say stay on his left hand, but his left hand is a lot stronger than anybody else's right hand. So, there's a reason he was the first pick in the draft a few years ago.
All right. For those of you on the stream, give us your final score predictions, and let's see what we have going. The Kings are 3-0, already been a very good road trip. This could be a great road trip, but right now they got some work to do here in the third and fourth quarter. But, the one thing we've seen when you have De'Aaron Fox on the floor, 13-point leads are nothing at halftime. You know what I mean? So, as you said, Ryan, it's not that big of a deal right now, but you want to make sure this game doesn't get further separated.
Yeah, Grant. And when I look at what the Kings have done offensively, the three ball, it's not there yet. That will come along traditionally. I know it's a back-to-back legs. I think they'll get that done. But where it has to get better is the hustle plays, the rebounding. The Kings out-rebounded by 11 tonight. Those are the things that will end up beating you in a game like this. So if they clean that up, they're going to have a shot to win this game.
All right, again, give us your final score prediction. Sea Dog's got the Kings winning by 3. Another one's got the Kings winning by 3. I'm going to go with the Pelicans in this one tonight. Just the second of a back-to-back. I think the Kings in the fourth quarter, that's going to, be an issue here. I don't see any way they're slowing down Zion Williamson. So I'm going to say the Pelicans are going to win this game tonight. I'm going to go 125 to 112.
I'm going Kings 112, Pelicans 110.
Okay.
I'm going Kings 113, Pelicans 112.
All right. By the way, the Pelicans, we talk about the Kings numbers. They shot a very impressive 57% from the field. They shot 44% from beyond the arc. They also went to the line 11 times, and they made 10. Kings, meanwhile, 9 of 13 from the line. So, and again, the Kings took good care of the basketball. That's another thing I was impressed with in that first half. The Kings were not sloppy at all with the ball. They only had 4 turnovers.
No, they can come back and win this game. I think
Sure.
the keys they just have to cut into the lead in the third quarter. They don't have to catch up. But if they can get to 6, 7 points going into the fourth, the pressure all goes to the home team at that point. So we'll see.
Amen, Jerry. Yeah, and Fox time. Grant brought it up. He only has 9 points here at the half. He's inevitably going to come along in that zone defense. That may be the thing that helps the Kings out, get that little run.
I'm just, again, factoring into my mind that the Kings did play last night and New Orleans was off. And I just think that's going to show up at some point even further. I thought it started to show up a little bit in that second quarter, but we'll see. Again, Jerry, I talked about this on the show with Ryan, I think a few days ago. I can't remember exactly when. Good teams don't talk about back-to-backs. Good teams, it's not really anything that they even think about. They just go out and play. Jerry, when the Kings were really, really good, that team didn't give a damn if they were playing 4 games in 5 nights or back-to-back. They knew they were better than the opponent, and they went out and won. The Bulls with George. We can go on and on. The really good teams in this league, they don't really – back-to-backs aren't an issue.
No, not really. In general, and you're talking about like in Dallas and the short flight. But it's more of a concern to me just how good the Pelicans are, when they're more or less healthy and rested than anything the Kings are doing because, I think the Kings are in great physical shape and they're capable of winning back-to-back games as so it's just a matter of getting it done. But you do have to be a little concerned. I know just watching Dallas last night, they clearly got tired.
Yeah.
And so I don't think the Kings. I think the Kings are a little better conditioned, but we'll see.
Here's one other thing to look out for, too. New Orleans in their last game blew a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter to Minnesota. So it can be done. It's just up to the Kings to bring that with the energy. And Davion Mitchell with Chris Duarte questionable here in the second half. He's going to play some big minutes. So he has fresh legs. We know that.
Well, the Kings are going to need more from their bench. They didn't really get much at all from their bench. And I think that if the Kings are going to win this game, we always talk about the starters, but I think you're going to need the bench to do more than they did in that first half. That's also, to me, going to be an aspect of this second half you can look towards.
Yeah, I think one thing that would interest me a little bit with the size difference and all, I wonder if you might not even try to play McGee and Sabonis together at some point. Valanciunas and Zion is just a matchup that doesn't work at all for the Kings.
Yeah, Valanciunas played 13 minutes, didn't take a lot of shots, but, he rebounds the ball. He also is a very good passer. He had 6 assists in that first half along with 7 points. So, Valanciunas, and again, I don't go overboard with plus minus on an individual basis, but his plus minus in the first half was plus 20. So when he was on the floor, New Orleans played very well.
By the way, Grant, please list all the big European centers that aren't good passers and all-around players. It'll be a short list.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, I can't name one. You
I
know,
can't either. So,
right?
you know.
Maybe Papagiannis. Do you remember him, Jerry?
You know, yeah, he would be. He wasn't there then. Now I don't know how he is now. I mean, that's you know, in fairness to the guy, he's probably a lot better. But yeah, it's just amazing. Of course, the skill level. Of course, they're trained that way, and just seem like invariably, if you got a big European player or a European player of any kind, they're going to be very competent all around skills.
Oh man, yeah, that's very you know, and that's part of the reason why the world is catching up to the United States when it comes to basketball supremacy. I mean, we saw it again this summer where the United States didn't even medal. Now, I understand the U.S. didn't have their best players, but the point is, you know, in the past, the U.S. didn't need to have their best players, and they still would steamroll everyone around the world for the most part. It's not like that anymore. I mean, the world, Jerry, from when you got into the league, when I got into the league, I mean, there's no comparison. It's night and day.
No, not at all. And you know, like I've said, if the NBA does what they should do, eventually have for the All-Star game, Americans versus internationals.
Right.
I mean, there's no doubt that the most talented is now the world. I mean, when you Embiid,
Sure.
Jokic, and Booker, and Shea
Yep.
Gilgeous-Alexander, and Luka Doncic. I mean,
Antetokounmpo.
yeah, Antetokounmpo. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Jerry, I'll tell you, if that ever happens, I'm gonna ask the league if you can be the coach for the international team. Okay, I think that would go over very well. I think they would love you, and I also think that you would win.
I'd have a good chance. I believe I would.
I think you'd have more than a good chance, Jerry. I think you'd have a very, very, very good chance. Okay.
Yeah. So you're saying, you know, I could do that, win one, and act smart for a couple of days. Huh?
You guys could take Airball 1 to the game, and you guys would still
No.
win.
Jerry's not getting on Airball 1.
Risk that. I'd rather not risk that.
Jerry is not getting on Airball 1. Okay. First of all, Jerry doesn't like to fly. Jerry certainly and he doesn't like to fly long distances. He sure as hell ain't getting on Airball 1.
No, I need to be have one of those like Star Trek where you just get your body transitioned, you know, or whatever.
It's coming, Jerry. It's coming.
Yeah, well, you go first.
Yeah, unbelievable. All right, Jerry. Thank you very much.
See you guys.
Thanks, Jerry.
All right, good stuff right there. Ryan, we look forward to post game. The Kings got some work to do. 66-53. So I'm with you. I think the first 5 minutes of this second half will be very telling.
Very telling indeed. And you know what? This team, they're going to be fine. Honestly, I think this is a game. This is the type of game they have to win to take that next step. Yeah. And it's their first back-to-back this season. So to give us a taste of what they can do.
All right. Appreciate everybody joining us here. We will see you right after the game here on If You Don't